I found the text at 2 a.m., my phone buzzing like a fly trapped in a jar. It was a screenshot from an unknown number, a blurry photo of my wife Sarah, laughing in a bar, her hand on my brother Caleb's arm, his smirk sharp enough to cut glass. The caption read, "Guess who's cozy at Murphy's?" I stared at it, the glow of my phone burning my eyes, my gut twisting like a stripped bolt. I'm Tom Brennan, 34, a diesel mechanic in Canton, Ohio. I've been turning wrenches since I was 16, fixing engines, not people. But that night, I knew I had two choices: confront them and watch them lie, or build a plan to make them regret it. Guess which one I picked? I'd been married to Sarah for 6 years, met her at a county fair, her in a sundress, me in grease-stained jeans, her smile making me forget the oil under my nails. She was 27, a part-time bartender with dreams of opening her own bakery. I loved her ambition, the way she'd sketch cupcake designs on napkins. I thought she loved me for the same reason, because I built things too. My life was my garage, a two-bay shop I'd bought at 29 after years of saving. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine, a concrete slab of proof I could make something solid. We moved into a brick bungalow on a quiet street, the kind with a front porch you picture growing old on. I thought Sarah saw it that way too. Turns out some people don't want solid. They want sparks. Caleb's my older brother by 2 years, the charming one who never stuck with anything. He's a car salesman, all flash and no follow-through, the kind of guy who'd sell you a lemon and call it a favor. Growing up, he'd borrow my tools, my cash, my time, always promising to pay me back. He never did. But family's family, so I let him slide, even when he'd show up at our house unannounced, cracking beers and flirting with Sarah like it was a game. I trusted her. I trusted him. That was my first mistake. The first year of marriage was good. Great, even. I'd come home from the shop, hands smelling of diesel, and Sarah would have dinner ready, maybe meatloaf or her mom's lasagna recipe. We'd sit on the porch, her talking about flour ratios, me griping about a busted alternator. I paid the mortgage and shop loans. She covered groceries and utilities. We argued about dumb stuff. Thermostat settings, whether to paint the kitchen blue, but we laughed it off. I was rebuilding the garage's second bay, pouring every spare dollar into it, dreaming of hiring another mechanic. Sarah said she was proud. I believed her. Looking back, I wonder when she stopped meaning it. The cracks started small. Sarah began spending more time with Caleb. He'd swing by with concert tickets or invite her to networking events at bars, saying she needed to meet people for her bakery dream. I didn't mind at first. Family, right? But then it was late nights, her phone buzzing at odd hours, her coming home with stories that didn't add up. "Just catching up with Caleb," she'd say, her smile too quick. I'm not the jealous type. Never was. But when your wife starts checking her phone before she checks on you, you notice. My buddy Mike, who's been torquing bolts with me since trade school, saw it before I did. "Caleb's trouble, Tom," he said one night over wings at the shop. "Always has been. Watch him." I brushed it off. Should have listened. By last spring, Sarah was different. She'd pick fights over nothing. Why I worked late, why I didn't take her out more, why our life wasn't exciting. She'd toss out lines like, "Relationships need passion, Tom," sounding like she'd read it in a magazine. I was pulling 50-hour weeks, fixing rigs to keep the shop afloat, my hands scarred from years of wrenches slipping. To me, that was love, building a future, not chasing thrills. But Sarah wasn't hearing it. Every fight felt like a test I didn't know I was taking, and Caleb's name kept slipping into her complaints. "Caleb says I deserve more," she'd say. Then catch herself, like she'd spilled oil on a clean floor. That screenshot changed everything. I didn't confront Sarah right away. I'm a mechanic. I diagnose before I rebuild. The number came from a burner, but the photo was real. Sarah in a low-cut top, Caleb's arm too close, their faces lit by bar lights. I saved it, then checked our joint credit card. Charges at Murphy's Tavern, $78. A hotel in Akron, $145, same night. Timestamps matched. My brother and my wife, my blood and my vows, tangled in a lie. I didn't sleep that night. Instead, I started planning, my mind turning like a well-oiled engine. I kept my routine tight. Shop by 7 a.m., home by 8 p.m., no hint I knew. Sarah was all smiles, talking about her bakery plans, oblivious to the storm building. Caleb came over for Sunday dinner, cracking jokes, his hand brushing Sarah's as he passed the potatoes. I played along, laughing, pouring him another beer. Inside, I was cataloging every move, every glance. If they thought they were slick, they were about to hit a brick wall. First step, evidence. Sarah left her laptop open on the kitchen counter, logged into her email. I'm no hacker, but I know passwords. She used our wedding date for everything. I found a thread with Caleb buried in a folder labeled recipes. It wasn't cupcakes. Messages going back months, flirty at first, then explicit. Can't wait to see you at Murphy's, Caleb wrote. Wear that dress I like, with a winking emoji. Sarah's reply, Tom's working late again, we're good. There were photos, her in that dress, him in a hotel room, timestamps matching the credit card hits. I screenshotted everything, saved them to a cloud drive, backed it up on a USB. This wasn't suspicion anymore. This was a blueprint for their betrayal. Next, I checked the financials. Our joint account showed more charges. Bars, dinners, a weekend at a Cleveland B&B when Sarah said she was visiting her sister. I downloaded statements, highlighted every damning line. Caleb's car lot was another angle. He'd been dodging taxes for years, bragging about it at family barbecues. I tipped off a friend at the county tax office, anonymous, with just enough detail to spark an audit. If Caleb wanted to play dirty, I'd bury him in paperwork. Mike was my rock through this. We'd been friends since we were kids, swapping spark plugs in his dad's garage. He's the kind of guy who'd spot a loose bolt from across the room and call you out for it. Over beers at the shop, I showed him the screenshots. He didn't sugarcoat it. Your brother's a snake, Tom. Always was. Sarah's no better for falling for it. You gonna burn him down? I nodded. Not with fire, with precision. Mike grinned. That's my boy. Make it hurt. I needed more than screenshots to seal this. I wanted them caught, not just exposed. Sarah's laptop had her iCloud synced, including her calendar. She had a meeting with Caleb at Murphy's Tavern the next Friday, 9 p.m. Perfect. I called in a favor with Jenny, a bartender at Murphy's who owed me for fixing her truck free last winter. Just keep an eye out, I told her. Text me if they show up together, maybe snap a pic. She didn't ask questions. Bartenders see everything, say nothing. Friday came and I told Sarah I was working late, a rush job on a semi's transmission. She kissed my cheek, said she was meeting friends at Murphy's. I nodded, my face a mask. By 9:15, Jenny texted, they're here. Corner booth, cozy. Attached was a photo, Sarah and Caleb, heads close, his hand on her thigh. I saved it, my hands steady as if I were threading a bolt. Step 2. Set the stage. I didn't want a quiet divorce or a shouting match. I wanted a spectacle, something that'd stick to them like grease on a wrench. Our family was tight-knit, or so I thought. Mom and Dad hosted Sunday brunch every week. Aunts, uncles, cousins, the whole Brennan clan. They all loved Sarah, thought Caleb was the golden boy. That was about to change. I planned a family brunch ambush, but I needed Sarah and Caleb to dig their own graves first. I texted Caleb from a burner app, pretending to be Sarah. Miss you. Meet me at Murphy's tomorrow, 8 p.m. Wear that blue shirt. He replied in minutes, you got it, babe. Then I texted Sarah from another burner, mimicking Caleb. Can't stop thinking about you. Murphy's tomorrow, 8 p.m. She sent back a heart emoji. Hook set. I called Jenny again. Big favor, I said. Reserve the back room at Murphy's for a family event tomorrow. I'll cover the tab. She laughed. You're up to something, Tom. I'm in. Saturday night, I told Sarah I was stuck at the shop again. She didn't blink, just said she was grabbing drinks with the girls. At 7:30, I drove to Murphy's, parked out back, and slipped Jenny $100 to rig the plan. She'd seated Sarah and Caleb in the back room, thinking they had privacy. At 8:15, I walked in with the entire Brennan family, Mom, Dad, Aunt Linda, Uncle Ray, 6 cousins, even Grandma Ruth in her wheelchair. I'd told them it was a surprise anniversary party for me and Sarah. They were thrilled, carrying balloons and a cake I'd ordered. We burst into the back room, shouting, surprise! Sarah and Caleb froze, her hand in his, a half-empty wine glass between them. The room went dead silent, balloons bobbing like mockery. Mom's face crumpled. Dad's jaw tightened. Grandma Ruth muttered, well, I'll be damned. Sarah stammered, Tom, this isn't, but I cut her off. Save it, I said, calm as a torque wrench. I pulled out my phone, projected the screenshots onto the wall, texts, photos, hotel receipts. The family stared, gasps turning to whispers. Caleb tried to bolt, but Uncle Ray blocked the door, his linebacker frame unmoving. Sarah's face was ash white. It's not what you think, she tried again. I held up a hand. It's exactly what I think. I turned to the family. They've been at this for months. While I'm keeping the shop running, they're running around on our dime. I showed the credit card statements, the B&B charges. Aunt Linda started crying. Dad looked at Caleb like he was a stranger. I didn't need to say more. The evidence spoke louder than any shouting match. Then came the kicker. Jenny, bless her, had set up a live stream to the bar's Instagram, accidentally capturing the whole scene. By the time we left, the video was already racking up views. Sarah and Caleb caught red-handed. The family's shock, my calm takedown. Comments poured in, what a snake. Poor guy, he deserves better. By morning it had 10,000 views, shared across local Facebook groups. Canton's a small town. Word travels faster than a spark plug misfire. I didn't stick around for their excuses. I drove home, packed Sarah's clothes into 2 suitcases and left them on the porch with a note. You're done here. Caleb called me that night, begging, saying it was a mistake. I hung up. Family or not, he'd crossed a line you don't come back from. Sarah texted, apologizing, promising to change. I didn't reply. Silence was my answer, sharper than any words. Monday morning, I met with a divorce lawyer, Karen Voss, a shark in a pantsuit who'd handled Mike's cousin's case. I handed her the folder, screenshots, statements, the Murphy's video, now at 50,000 views. Ohio's a fault state for divorce, and adultery's a trump card. Karen grinned like she'd just found a winning lottery ticket. Tom, this is airtight. She gets nothing but her car and her debt. The house and shop stay yours. We filed that day, serving Sarah at the bakery where she'd started working part-time. The server handed her the papers in front of her coworkers. She didn't cry, just stood there, papers shaking in her hands. Caleb's reckoning came slower, but hit harder. My tax office tip triggered an audit. Turns out he'd been skimming cash sales at the car lot for years. By summer, he was facing $80,000 in back taxes and penalties, his salesman license revoked. The Brennan family cut him off. No more brunches, no more loans. Grandma Ruth told him he was no grandson of hers. Harsh but honest. The video kept spreading. TikTok turned it into a meme fest. Clips of Sarah's stammering, Caleb's deer in headlights face, even my deadpan save it, with captions like, when you catch 'em in 4K. It hit 200,000 views, shared by local influencers and bar pages. Sarah quit her bakery job, too humiliated to show her face. Last I heard, she was crashing with a cousin in Toledo, her bakery dreams on hold. Caleb moved to Akron, working some dead-end retail job, his charm useless now. Me? I'm back in my bungalow, my shop humming. I hired a second mechanic, a kid fresh out of trade school, eager to learn. I ripped out Sarah's floral curtains, replaced them with blinds, and turned the guest room into a gym. The porch is mine again. No staged fights, no lies, just me and a cold beer, watching the sunset. I kept the house, the shop, my peace. They thought they could break me, but I rebuilt stronger. Sometimes you don't need to throw the wrench. You just tighten the right bolts, and the whole thing falls apart on its own. So Reddit, what's your take? If your brother and your wife pulled this, how'd you handle it? Drop a comment and let me know.